Welcome to the Man Utd stream, hope you're doing well. It's Sunday morning and we've got transfer news coming your way. Yes, it's been a couple of good 2-3 days, hasn't it? We've been actually buzzing since we heard of the signing of Bryan Mbeumo, and it's been a roller coaster ride. I think for 3-4 weeks we've been sat there wondering, when are we going to actually get some positive news? And then finally, boom, Friday came and we got the news that we've all been waiting for. Man Utd signing Bryan Mbeumo. He's actually gone through his medical and hopefully will be on the pre-season tour with United going out to the USA. But United have moved quickly to find a new striker because they're desperate to bring in some goals. And we're hearing that Man Utd have got a short list of 3 strikers that they're going to be going for. We're going to be discussing which 3 strikers those are. We're going to be giving you a lowdown on who they are and why United are looking at them in today's show. We're also going to be discussing the Marcus Rashford deal. What was that all about? Yesterday we got the here we go now for Marcus Rashford going off to Barcelona on a loan deal. But is this good for United? Does it work out? Does it not? We'll be discussing the details of that loan deal. And finally in today's show we'll be looking at other players that could be joining Marcus Rashford out of Man United. Jadon Sancho, Anthony Malacia and more. So make sure you stick around, make sure you hit the like button on this video, and if you're not already a subscriber to the Man Utd stream channel, what you're waiting for, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and more from one single daily dose. Now kicking off today's show with, of course, the news on Marcus Rashford. It dropped yesterday afternoon. It was exciting. I mean, we already were on the high with the Bryan Mbeumo deal and his medical going through. We were not expecting the Marcus Rashford deal to drop. We got here we go now from Fabrizio Romano and a few other reporters saying this is a done deal. Barcelona have agreed to take Marcus Rashford on a loan deal. Now, we discussed this earlier in the morning before the news broke that Marcus Rashford was on the verge of joining Barcelona. Although Barcelona hadn't made any official contact with United, they had agreed terms with Marcus Rashford and spoken with his agents. And we were just waiting on seeing when Barcelona would come in. We first were thinking that Barcelona might delay it to the very last point of the transfer window and try and get some kind of deal in that way. But we've got some positive news and maybe some negative news, but let's discuss this deal in a bit more detail. Number one, Marcus Rashford. He is an expensive player for United. He's reportedly on about £325,000 a week. That's a huge amount of money going out of United's pocket for a player who's not actually featuring in the first team. So a player that might not even be playing in the squad. He might not even be in the squad. Ruben Amorim doesn't want him at the club. So it would have been a complete waste of money having someone like that sat at Man United. And that's where United were desperate to get him offloaded, either through a sale or a loan deal. And it transpires that Barcelona are going to be taking Marcus Rashford on a loan. Now, we weren't sure yesterday about how the details would work, whether Barcelona will be covering his full salary, whether it'd just be a portion of his salary. But now we've got the details and it's good news. It's good news that Barcelona are going to cover Marcus Rashford's full salary. That means United have just saved a lot of money there because Marcus Rashford is on 325k a week, like we just said, and that is a lot of money. You could actually pay 2 players' salary. And look, when it comes to PSR and things like that, these things make a huge difference. Would I have loved Marcus Rashford to have been sold completely? Yes. I just feel like the responsibility of having a player out on loan and you're just still worried about his long-term career and his injuries and things like that. You don't want to be responsible. Now, for me, having a player out on loan is like giving your friend a car that you own and he takes it off your hand and says, right, I'll drive it for a year and then if I like it, I'll keep it, and if I don't like it, I'll just return it. But then you're always the ultimate person who's responsible for whatever goes wrong on the car. So if the car comes back completely bashed and trashed and whatever, yeah, you're the one who's responsible for it. If anything goes wrong on it, your mate just hands it back to you and says, well, look, there you go, I'm not happy with it, boom. Now, one negative about this loan deal to Barcelona for Marcus Rashford is the obligation to buy. There's no obligation for Barcelona to buy Marcus Rashford. Drop your comments below on what you think about this loan deal with Marcus Rashford. Are you happy to see the back of him? Are you happy that they're covering his full salary? Let us know. Look, actually, on the point of full salary, I'm really relieved. I'm relieved that United do not have to be paying anything towards his salary, because at first I was thinking, are United having to pay anything towards his salary? Because that would have really been nail in the coffin for me. Really do not want to be paying towards a player's salary who's not playing at the club. Now, moving on to some more exciting news, and this is United's search for a striker. Yes, United have not made any secret about this. They need a striker, and they need him to come in really fast. They want him there before pre-season, but I don't think they're going to get it done before pre-season, but they will be trying and getting him done within a week or two. And we're hearing there's 3 players on that shortlist. Number 1 is Ollie Watkins. We've discussed this. Aston Villa probably going to take him on a loan deal if they can, because they don't really want to be buying someone who's near the end of his career and, well, shouldn't be really being invested in at this moment in time, but he can still offer us some goals, some Premier League experience. The second player United have on that shortlist is Benjamin Sesko. Yes, what player he could be. Arsenal were looking at signing him. They were trying to negotiate something with him. Nothing happened. They're still up Gyökeres's backside. Haven't been able to sign him either. So this is really interesting news. United should possibly go in there for Sesko. What's going on? Why didn't he sign for Arsenal? We don't know, but I'm sure we'll get further details on that. And the final person on that shortlist, the final striker, is Kolo Muani. Yes, we never knew this was on the cards, did we? I mean, look, his name's been mentioned previously before the transfer window opened. We were talking about Muani maybe being a possible signing for Man United, and he's been a player who's been at PSG, gone off to Juventus, really not done much, has he? I mean, he's not proven himself as a striker. Will United go for him? It'll be a huge risk, in my opinion, going for someone like Muani, but could he do a job at United? Again, I think United, the way they've been moving this transfer window, they will want to go for a player that's proven, someone who's solid, and someone who can come in and is low risk. Ollie Watkins ticks all them boxes, in my opinion. Sesko would be the dream signing, but I can't see United doing that right now. I'd love for them to do that. I'd love for them to go and sign someone like Sesko, someone who's a future star and could actually come into this United team and light it on fire. Really do hope they do that, but I can't see that happening. Really, genuinely, if you were gonna ask me to bet on it, I would probably bet on Ollie Watkins. But again, I'm not quite sure. If they were going to move for Ollie Watkins, they would have surely done it by now. They surely would have gone there and said, right, okay, we want a swap deal. There's Emi Martinez from Aston Villa they're also talking about. There's also news that Garnacho could be on his way to Aston Villa, so they might be doing some kind of swap deal, maybe Garnacho for Emi Martinez and Ollie Watkins. I'm not quite sure. We're going to have to wait and see what further details come out on this Ollie Watkins deal as well, if there is a deal. But this is good news. As United fans, at least we can see United moving in the right direction, looking at trying to sign a striker. There was this nightmare scenario where you're thinking United might not sign anybody this season. If they don't sign Brian Buemo, they might just sit there and think, okay, look, do you know what? We'll carry on with Højlund and Zertsky and leave it at that. I mean, that is where you can't trust United. You cannot trust Ineos and the Glazers. You don't know what they're thinking. And at one point you start thinking, shit, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to sit there and just let this just get even worse. But thankfully, that's not been the case. We've got Buemo, and now we can move on to sign a top striker. In my opinion, I believe Man United are looking at more than just 3 strikers. They're keeping their options open. They know they have to, and it's going to be exciting times ahead to look at what United are going to do and who they're going to move for. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the latest transfer news coming out of Man United. You watching the Man United Stream channel by the fans for the fans.